It was Christmas Eve, and Santa was all set to hop in his sleigh and deliver gifts to children around the world. To make sure he stayed warm during the windy ride, he put on his boots, his furry red coat, and his black gloves.
All set,
said Santa. But just as he was about to leave, Mrs. Claus stopped him.
Aren't you forgetting something, Santa?
She asked, holding out his warm Santa hat and mask.
Oh dear, I wouldn't want to forget my favorite hat and mask.
And then, just because he loved his hat so much, he began to sing.
Santa hat, sitting on my head. I hope all the children are fast asleep in bed.
Santa blew Mrs. Claus a quick kiss of thanks and then headed to the sleigh. But just as he got to the garden, a strong wind blew, and away Santa's hat flew.
Oh dear, what will I do?
A jolly gardener elf was standing nearby and saw what happened.
Here, Santa, my hat blew away too, but you can use this flower pot.
Why, thank you,
said Santa, and as he put it on his head, he began to sing.
Flower pot, sitting on my head. I hope all the children are fast asleep in bed.
Santa waved goodbye to the elf and hopped into the sleigh. It was a windy ride, blowing the sleigh back and forth and up and down. And just as Santa was landing on the first house, a strong wind blew, and away Santa's hat flew.
Oh dear, what will I do?
Rudolph was standing nearby and didn't want Santa to be without a hat.
Here, Santa, you can use my hat.
Wow, I didn't know that was a hat.
Uh-huh.
Well, thank you,
said Santa, and as he put it on his head, he sang.
Reindeer hat, sitting on my head. I hope all the children are fast asleep in bed.
Santa hopped into the chimney and quickly delivered all of the presents before heading to the next house. On he went through the windy night, delivering presents as fast as he could. But just as he was climbing into a chimney in New Zealand, a strong wind blew, and away Santa's hat flew.
Oh dear, what will I do?
Since no one was nearby to offer a new hat, Santa quickly grabbed the first thing he saw as he left gifts under the tree. He plopped it on his head and sang.
Underpants, sitting on my head. I hope all the children are fast asleep in bed.
The reindeer all giggled when they saw Santa's hat, but there was no time to find anything better. They let Santa climb into the sleigh and flew off into the windy night. On they went from house to house, delivering gifts so fast that no one knew Santa was even there. Until they reached a house in Florida. Santa slid down the chimney to find someone waiting. He was a small blue cat, all ready for bed, wearing his best Christmas PJs, complete with a furry red hat.
Santa, what is that on your head?
Underpants,
Santa replied, feeling quite silly.
My hat blew away, and they were all I could quickly find to keep my head warm.
The cat pulled the hat from atop his own head.
Here, Santa, take mine. It is my gift to you, and it has a handy-dandy strap so it won't fly away.
Thank you, Pete. You have true holiday spirit.
Santa handed Pete a wrap box and then headed back up the chimney. And on the way up he sang,
Santa hat, sitting on my head. I'm glad Pete the cat was not asleep in bed.
Santa managed to keep the hat on his head the rest of the night. A few days after Christmas, Pete found a wrapped present outside his front door. He opened it up to find a brand new hat along with a note that said,
To thank you for your kindness, Mrs. Claus made this hat just for you. Happy holidays. Love, Santa.
The new hat was a perfect match for Pete's favorite pair of pajamas, so he plopped it on his head and sang.
Groovy hat, sitting on my head. I will wear my groovy hat every night to bed.
The end.